Welcome to the Martinsville Speedway, where tonight we're getting ready to set the starting lineup for the 42 car field that will be racing in the Virginia 500 here tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time over on Twitch. There's also one other thing I do have to do real quick because I just realized it, and that is set up the audio. Whoops, I'm also really messing up. As always, Elijah Leonard here with you to bring the action for Pepsi Cup Series qualifying. We are starting a little bit later than what we normally would because I overslept and overstayed my time and my comfort, and just obviously the comfort in you know, the luxuries of comfort. We'll just put it at that. But nonetheless, 15 minutes are on the clock here for these drivers. First driver out on the racetrack, that was Kyler Sustry. That managed to get out on. And then you have Janiah Hill in the number 7 machine. She's already out on the racetrack. Now, Janiah Hill has just not had herself the best of luck of trying to make races. The only one that she made, she wound up winning. That would be the Clash at the LA Coliseum all the way back in February. But since then, she has not been able to make a single event. So who knows? Today could be the day where she manages to make her way into tonight's field and make her official first Pepsi Cup Series start since right around 2023. So it's been a while since Janiah Hill has been a part of a Pepsi Cup Series race. So far she's on track to do so. She's currently inside of the top 6 with a 19.160. Just 2 1,000ths, or was 2 1,000ths of a second off of Rayatikian's pace, but he just bettered that. Actually, no, Janiah Hill just bettered that by a 19.098. Nikki Fox goes to 3rd. Bobby McGuire up to 5th. Atikian gets kicked back to 4th. Chase McClure kicks Bobby McGuire out of 5th. So now McGuire is on the bubble spot. Not anymore. McClure is on the bubble spot. This is going to keep on trading here between these two as time goes on. There it goes again. So now Nikki Fox at the top of the charts with almost a 19-second flat lap. She's 2 1,000ths of a second off from that. Then Kyler Sustry 2nd. Joshua Cornish bumps up to 3rd with a 19.055. He moves up inside of the top 6. Janiah Hill up to 3rd with a .34. Now gets kicked back to 4th. Michael DeFeo now on the outside, now on the bubble spot with a 19.076. How patriotic is that? Would have been more patriotic if it was a 17.076. But I do digress. Rayatikian top of the charts, breaking into the 18-second bracket with an 18.984. That kicks Fox back to 2nd, now to 3rd as DeFeo goes up to the 2nd position with an 18.961. Josiah Munsell moving up to the 4th position. Kyler Sustry and then Janiah Hill. Once again, now finding herself on the outside looking in, or on the bubble spot. Travis Crampton currently is on the outside looking in with a .54, a 19.54 to be more specific. But just think about this. Janiah Hill, again, trying to make her first Pepsi Cup Series race. She's just 10 1,000ths, now 6 1,000ths of a second ahead of new 7th place Chase McClure. McClure currently on the outside looking in to see what the lap is going to look like this time around. And it doesn't look like there was any sort of improvement there on Chase McClure's end. But Atikian just 5/1000ths of a second faster than Michael DeFeo, both of which are the only two drivers that have broken into that 18-second bracket. There's Ajax Fitzgerald, number 92. Actually, wait a minute. Ryan Gundillo just moved up to third with an 18.976. That puts Sustry on the bubble and Janiyah Hill on the outside looking in. Oh boy. Now Gundillo goes to the top with an 18.919. Where did all this speed come from? I am honestly curious as to where all that speed came from, because Ryan Gundillo was not even a factor inside of the top 6. And now, after probably some adjustments that he made in the pits, here he is, already at the top of the charts. Martin Nixon up to 4th with a 9:45 to his name, trying to make his second consecutive Pepsi Cup Series race. 3rd overall. Jordan Sumner I believe trying to make her first start, I want to say since Rockingham. But now she finds herself on the outside looking in. Josiah Munsell now is on the bubble spot. But so far, with 8 minutes left to go, I mean, there's still a lot of laps that can be logged here in an 8-minute bracket. But I mean, there's still a good amount of time. I mean, it may not seem like it, but on a short track like this, there's definitely going to be a good amount of time. And just to log the laps and try to make some adjustments and improve, the performance of the car, and just try to make sure that you can get it to turn good through the corners and have it fire off on the straightaways. And that's what some of these drivers that broke into that 18-second bracket have been able to do, especially if you are inside of the top 6. Wire still sitting on pit road. He currently sits 9th with a 9.96 to his name. So far, the slowest of the drivers that are in that 18-second bracket. 6/1000ths of a second back from him. That would be Chase McClure. The fastest drivers within the 19-second bracket. There's where Janiyah Hill is at. She was actually running very good and very consistently inside of the top 6 for the opening part of the session, but unfortunately she just got kicked all the way back. Well, to the 11th spot, now up to 8th, as she now puts down an 18.985 lap time. And now to the top of the charts with an 18.887. My, oh my, she pulled it back together. She pulled it back together with an 8.87. How about that? Joshua Cornish to second on the board with an 8.91. Gundillo 3rd, Atikian 4th, Michael DeFeo 5th, and now Travis Crampton finds himself inside of the top 6 with a 9.40 to his name. As McGuire makes his way back out on track, there's a good chance he might have made some adjustments to this number 3, so let's see if they all kind of paid off there, as he almost gets set into the wall by Travis Crampton. Man, this race, I will say, is once the green flag drops later on tonight, this is absolutely going to be a barn burner of a race. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. It's definitely going to be a good amount of excitement there. So definitely, it's gonna be worth the watch. And once the green flag drops tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, over on Twitch, it's definitely gonna be a barn burner. I don't even know what else I'm saying. I know I'm just repeat. Oh wait, we had a crash. That's the Michael DeFeo. DeFeo ended up backing his car, looks like, into the outside wall. Either that, or he just got absolutely rear-ended. He's gonna bring that machine to pit road. Now, another thing to note and to remind you that even if you wreck your car, or if you have any sort of damage, and if you switch over to a backup after that, if damages are deemed as unrepairable, as irreparable, you do not give up. You do not forfeit your position. So wherever you start, that's exactly where you're going to be starting. You're not going to drop to the back once the race starts. So definitely something to keep in mind there. So coming up on 3.5 minutes remaining here in this qualifying session for the part-timers. This is the top 6 that will make it into tonight's show. Janiyah Hill looking to make her first Pepsi Cup start since 2023. She is currently top of the charts as of right now. Joshua Cornish in second. Ryan Gundillo third. Ray Atiki in fourth. Travis Crampton in fifth. And now Michael DeFeo currently on the outside looking in with a 9.39, 6/1000ths of a second back is both Martin Nixon and the 32 of Nikki Fox. They both are currently tied right now. Obviously, the only difference is the millionths of a second bracket that NR 2003 does not take into account. As we wind down, 2.5 minutes remaining. It's going to be very interesting as to how the rest of the session is going to play out, because historically speaking, there'd usually be one other driver that would come out of the woodworks and put down a good enough time that would actually get him into the show. And that would end up knocking somebody out at almost the last minute. So we'll just have to keep an eye out on the ticker, just in case if any of that were to happen. DeFeo is going to make his way back out on the racetrack. You saw him bottom right of your screen exit his pit. "90 seconds remaining here in this session. So far, again, no changes right now inside of that top 6, but you'll definitely want to keep that in. You definitely want to keep a note of that. That anything could possibly happen here within the next minute. So I would definitely say if you're somebody like Jordan Sumner here, for instance, or Josiah Munsell, Nikki Fox, Martin Nixon, or even anybody just outside of the top 10. Pretty much everybody, if you're one of these drivers, you know for sure that you've got a fast enough car that can actually put you in the show. All you got to do is just make the adjustments necessary and get back out there and try to put down that lap. To be more specific, yeah, put down that lap that's going to guarantee you a spot into tonight's field for the Virginia 500. 30 seconds remaining. Now 15 as so far it doesn't really look like that we might see those drivers, any of those drivers that are outside of the top 6, clock in a lap that's gonna put them in the show or knock somebody out and dash their hopes and dreams. I don't really think that's going to happen. So, with that said, I do believe it is going to be finalized. So, your top 6. Janiyah Hill, making her first Pepsi Cup Series start in 2 years. Also making the field, Joshua Cornish, Ryan Gondillo, Ray Atikian, Travis Crampton, and Michael DeFeo. Those drivers, those 6 drivers will be making the field for tonight's Virginia 500. And as for everybody else, Martin Nixon, Nikki Fox, Munsell, Sumner, McGuire, McClure, Sushtry, and Fitzgerald, they will all have to sit out and wait until next weekend when we go to Nazareth in order and have another shot of making the field for next week's race at the Nazareth Speedway. But congratulations to your top 6, Janiyah Hill, Cornish, DeFeo, Atikian, Crampton, and DeFeo. They will make tonight's field for the Virginia 500. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have qualifying. We'll have our 2 rounds of qualifying here at the Martinsville Speedway to set the starting lineup for the Virginia 500. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
If you want to watch a stream, you have to be ad-free because he gives you like 3 in an hour or minute. Please just do what he wants and he will give you the victory royale because he is very good at Fortnite. Not really, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is really good at Fortnite. Yeah, he is good at Fortnite.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Pepsi Cup Series qualifying for the 42-car field. This is going to set the starting lineup for the Virginia 500 tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. There's only going to be 2 rounds, so the top 12 fastest cars will move on to the final round, and that will set up the front row for tonight's race here at the Martinsville Speedway, our 6th inning of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. First car out on the racetrack, that is the number 1 of Wayne Lopez, ironically enough. So 2 10-minute sessions for tonight's qualifying festivities. There's Travis Crampton in the number 61, making his first start, I believe, since Las Vegas of this year. Other than that, Travis Crampton really hasn't had the best of luck of making Pepsi Cup Series races, but hopefully tonight is the night where that turns around and he does make a consistent string of Pepsi Cup Series races throughout the 2025 season. There's Emily Anderson in the number 4, trying to nab her first win of the year. She wound up winning in 2017 at the Texas Motor Speedway and at Richmond in 2020. Now trying to get her third Pepsi Cup Series win. Trying to get in here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. So that's going to be very interesting as to how this race is going to unfold. 250 laps around this paperclip. And it's definitely going to be a very fun one, because last year's McDonald's Cup Series racing, if you thought that was entertaining, this could be just as entertaining. So this is going to be one of those races where you're going to have to watch, because there's going to be some things that you might miss out on if you don't. So definitely going to be worth a watch here. Anderson goes to pit road. We're looking at Stephen Colon here in this number 25, being trailed by Alexander Rowe in the number 34. Our winner from Rockingham, that being Cologne. There's Sebastian Vaughn in the 54. Vaughn still trying to look for a good consistent string of good points days, and wound up getting that one, I believe, at Coda. Yeah, at Coda a few weeks back. Now trying to secure another good points day tonight. Trying to go for yet another top 5, and he just gets bumped in the back there by Alexander Rowe. Now does offset him just a little bit. But that is definitely going to be just a tiny, just a very, very small slither of what to expect for tonight's festivities. Wayne Lopez at the top of the charts with a 19.292. CG Halt in the second position with a 309. Then it's Abby Walker. Then Noah Clifton. Aaron Abel in the 43, currently sitting in the 5th position. Then it's Ray Atikian in 6th. There's Russell Blaze in 7th. Now 8th is Atikian. I believe Crampton might have just jumped up to 4th. Now it's the 31 jumping up to 2nd with a 249. That's Eric Monaco. Now Janiyah Hill up to 3rd with a 288 to her name. So Janiyah Hill already on a roll. Fastest driver in the go or go homer session. 3rd quickest, now 5th quickest, as all these other drivers are now starting to put down these really good lap times to try to get themselves into the final round. Oh, Hill just absolutely pancakes the wall. And she's going to already waste no time and just dive down to pit road. Wyatt Walker in the number 619 machine. New colors here for this weekend. Fastenal jumps on board for this weekend in Martinsville, and you'll definitely see that paint scheme for future Pepsi Cup Series races. And you'll definitely see future paint schemes for a lot of other drivers as well. Like NS Racing, for instance, they're going to have some new schemes here that'll be rolled out later on in the season. Same goes for Trinity River Racing. I would also say the same thing for AGI. So they've got 2 so far, or really one of which. There's Nia Steidel in the number 6 machine, rocking the Xbox colors here for this weekend. I would also say Durrani Racing could also get some new colors as well. Some secondary and 3rd paint schemes. So there are going to be more that will be rolled out as the season goes on. So definitely going to watch out. So definitely that's going to be something to look out for. But Nia Steidel, as of right now, as of in this session, Not faring too well. Currently 39th with a 19.535 to her name. As now she's going to get looked to the inside. Wait, what just happened back there? A huge crash on the back straightaway. Atikian currently trying to get the car re-straightened out. And already a ton of damage to the 45. Oh, more happening over in turn 3. The track is absolutely blocked as Skylar Taylor has a little bit of damage to hit to their hood. Oh my goodness gracious. Halt nails the wall. Ryan Gundillo with a good amount of damage to the front end of his car. Just absolutely pandemonium on the back straightaway heading into turn 3. And more of it. Sebastian Vaughn around. What in the world is going on? I don't even know. I honestly, I don't even have any idea. But as you can see there, top 12 are going to look like this here with 3 minutes to go. It is the 99 of Noah Clifton, currently fastest in this round, with a 19.154 to his name. Then Alexander Rowe in second. Russell Blaze jumping up to third with that 185 to his name. Braden Perez in fourth. Valkyrie Atikian in fifth. Aaron Abel in sixth. Rogel Dord in seventh. I almost said Mitchell Collins, so that's my mistake there. But Mitchell Collins in seventh. Then CG Holt in eighth. Ninth is Skylar Taylor, and Michael DeFeo would complete your top 10. Andrew Miller in 11th. And then rounding out the top 12 that would make the final round here, that would be Ryan Gundillo with the 240 to his credit. How about this, though? I do have to give a spectacular amount of props here to the 69 team of Russell Blaze and Durrani Racing altogether. You know, they have been absolutely... They've been on an absolute tear here throughout these last couple of weeks. You know, they've been consistently riding around the top 5, top 10 area, especially for Russell Blaze. Ended up getting his first top, I would say, he wound up finishing second, I want to say, back 2 weeks ago at Fontana when Quentin Moore got his first Pepsi Cup Series win, not just for himself, but also for Durrani Racing as a whole, which is absolutely super spectacular for Durrani Racing altogether. They have been absolutely nailing it out of the park when it comes to consistency. And as far as for the 04 and 69 teams, they've definitely been doing a fantastic job. As far as for Rogel Dorn goes, I mean, he's still got a good amount of ways to go, but he's had his moments under the sun. So I could definitely say, I mean, I will say for Rogel Dorn, there is a good chance that we could see him shine when we go to Kansas, because if you recall last year in the McDonald's Cup Series, he wound up winning. But this is a different car and obviously a different team. So, I mean, there is still a little bit of work in progress. But as far as for Rogel Dorn, I'm very confident that he is going to be able to catch up to his teammates of Quentin Moore and Russell Blaze. But overall, Durrani Racing has been absolutely spectacular when it comes to the consistency side of things. So my hat's off to that team altogether. So with coming up on 15 seconds to go, Andrew Ramsey jumps up to the top of the charts with a 19.125. We're trying to look for Andrew Ramsey. Oh, what in the world? DeFeo just came back out on the track and already getting absolutely roughhoused. And back to pit road he goes with more rear end damage to his race car. What in the world? But trying to look for Ramsey. I might have passed him. I swear, I don't even know where Andrew Ramsey is at. Either that or I'm just absolutely missing him. He might be sitting on pit road. But Andrew Ramsey, top of the charts with a 19.125. This is definitely going to lock him in. This will 100% lock him in to the final round, which will settle the pole position for tonight's Virginia 500. Ramsey, Clifton, Rowe, Blaze, Crampton, Perez, Atikian, Abel, Dorn, Holt, Miller, and Terry Walker. They will all be fighting for the pole position to tonight's race here at the Martinsville Speedway. As for 13th all the way down, this is where they are starting for tonight's Virginia 500. But as for the top 12, big congratulations to them. They get to move on. So when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be round 2 and the final round of Pepsi Cup Series qualifying from here at the Martinsville Speedway. So stick around. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
If you want to watch a stream, you have to be ad-free because he gives you like 3 in an hour or minute. Please just do what he wants and he will give you the victory royale because he is very good at Fortnite. Not really, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is really good at Fortnite. Yeah, he is good at Fortnite.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This time it is for round 2, our final round of Pepsi Cup Series qualifying from here at the Martinsville Speedway. We now know the 12 drivers that will be going for the pole here to settle the front row for tonight's Virginia 500. CG Holt wasting no time. He's going to make his way out on the racetrack. Try to put down the best possible lap. That's gonna try to, well, that's gonna at least get him into the, well, obviously try to get him on the front row. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but regardless of that fact, he is still trying to go for the pole regardless. I'd say the same thing here for Andrew Miller. I'd say this is honestly a really good performance qualifying wise for Andrew Miller because this season has just absolutely not treated him well whatsoever here for the 96 team, that Loctite Ford Mustang of Andrew Miller. Unfortunately has not fared too well this year, as finds himself towards the very bottom of the point standings. And you know, for Andrew Miller to make it to this point when it comes down to qualifying, I'm definitely very happy to see that, you know, especially for NS Racing. The only two drivers that have been performing pretty consistently throughout the year has been Zachary Fitzwater and Noah Clifton. Nathan Stapleton and Andrew Miller, they've got some catching up to do if they want to run up there with the two guys that are actually consistent for the team. Now, that's no knock to them for Miller and Stapleton. They are both very talented in their own rights. Obviously, Miller wound up winning Rookie of the Year for the Pepsi Cup Series 2 years ago, unofficially that is. And also as for Nathan Stapleton, well, he has 2 wins to his resume, his first of which came right here at Martinsville. So we could still see Nathan Stapleton or Andrew Miller pull something out of the hat here for this weekend and go to victory lane for the first time, not just in 2025, but for Andrew Miller's case, the first time in his Pepsi Cup Series career. Andrew Ramsey already finding himself in very familiar territory here tonight with a 19.049 to his name. He goes to the top of the board. Terry Walker not too far behind him with a .082 to his name. Now a .076. Now Aaron Abel goes to third with a .63, or it goes to second, rather. My bad. But CG Holt already tying with Terry Walker when it comes down to the times, at least for the moment, as Terry Walker now goes up to third with a .052 to his credit. Already Andrew Ramsey breaking into the 18-second bracket here for this final round of qualifying here at the Martinsville Speedway. But so far, I would definitely say things are looking up here for Andrew Ramsey and Lightstar Racing Co. As this 67 machine is looking pretty bad fast as of right now. You know, dominated round 1 of qualifying, already dominating the second round. This 67 team is, he's just barely going to graze the wall there. This 67 team has honestly been pretty strong, and and Andrew Ramsey and team have pretty much, I would definitely say, they whipped out a fantastic piece of machinery here. And they are probably going to be looking unbeatable here for tonight's race here at the Martinsville Speedway. It is going to be, I would say this is definitely going to be one of those races where it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be very chaotic at times, but it's also going to be very entertaining. It might put you on the edge of your seat. So a nice race here in Martinsville is going to be a must watch here tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And I'm definitely very excited for it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I apologize if I'm a little bit quiet at times. I am just still kind of waking up. But speaking of waking up, open your eyes, because Alexander Rowe just went to the top of the charts with an 18.896, knocking Andrew Ramsey off the pole spot just by at least, I would have to say, at least almost 41 thousandths of a second, or 41 hundredths of a second. Now Noah Clifton goes to the top with an 18.58. With an 18.858, I should say. So Clifton goes to the top of the board. So that knocks Rowe back to second, Ramsey back to third. How about this for Noah Clifton and NS Racing altogether? Clifton has absolutely brought some very spectacular rocket ships when it comes to qualifying. And oh boy, that could have been absolutely catastrophic. That happened right in front of Noah Clifton. Travis Crampton and Alexander Rowe getting together. Ratikian absolutely bounces off the wall as she dives to pit road. So this is pretty much looking like that Noah Clifton, unless if anything changes, Clifton is going to win the pole here for tonight's race here at the Martinsville Speedway. That is definitely going to be absolutely impressive if he is able to do this, especially after the last couple of weeks where he has been bringing some absolutely fantastic race cars to the racetrack and, performing pretty consistently in qualifying and putting down these really good times that are going to guarantee him some great starting positions. And as far as for Noah Clifton's case, I'm actually very confident that he's going to do absolutely everything he can to try to nab his third Pepsi Cup Series win. I'm confident. I'm very confident in this team. Clifton, ever since moving over to NS Racing shows, has shown that he is absolutely one hell of a consistent racer. Both he and Zachary Fitzwater together have both shown that they have been absolutely consistent. As far as for the 2025 season goes, and looks like Travis Crampton, absolutely the 99 just kind of barely pancaked the outside wall, but nothing too major there. Oh, well, speaking of major, Terry Walker just absolutely pancaked the outside wall in the exit of turn 2. So he comes to pit road along with Noah Clifton. I'm pretty sure Clifton doesn't want to risk anything else with his car. And as far as for Terry Walker goes, they're definitely going to start going to work on that right side of that Lowe's machine. Andrew Miller. From the looks of things, he's definitely going to be starting in the 10th position here in this Loctite Ford Mustang. But how about this, though, for NS Racing? Currently, as of right now, is a pole position here for Noah Clifton, for Andrew Miller. This is looking like a top 10 starting position. I believe, as he just gets knocked out. I want to say, I don't even know by who. I wasn't even paying too close of attention, but now he gets bumped outside of the top 10. But still, this is going to be a good starting spot regardless for Andrew Miller. And hopefully this means some good things here as we're winding down here in this qualifying session. Noah Clifton's going to make his way back out on the racetrack along with Rogel Dorn. I'd say a good starting position for Rogel Dorn as well. 12th currently, but although that's not the greatest here in this session, starting lineup wise, it's not the worst either. So you definitely got to give a good props here to Rogel Dorn and this Durrani Racing entry. Russell Blaze looks like he's going to be starting 10th here for this event. And I do believe the times might have been finalized. So your pole sitter is going to be Noah Clifton in the number 99 machine. Aaron Abel is going to line up alongside. That was Aaron Abel that just absolutely blasted right up to the second position. And it's Alexander Rowe, Andrew Ramsey that are going to make up the second row. Then row number 3, you're going to see Valkyrie Atikian and Braden Perez. Travis Crampton, Terry Walker, they're going to make up row 4. And then row 5, CG Holt, Russell Blaze. Row 6, Rogel Dorn and Andrew Miller. You flip those two respectively. Obviously, you got Miller and Dorn. That will be making up the 6th row. So that is qualifying from here at the Martinsville Speedway. Ladies, gentlemen, this has absolutely been a fantastic session here. Started off a little bit later than what I was hoping for after kind of oversleeping a little bit. So do want to apologize there for not starting up. And obviously, there are a good amount of things that were rushed. For example, I mean, I didn't even make the thumbnail for this session. So we're reusing the Fontana thumbnail. But that will get changed here after this session, after this stream ends. But speaking of, we'll be live tonight from here at the Martinsville Speedway for the Virginia 500 on Twitch. That will take place at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to go tune in over on Twitch. The link is in the description. In order to watch that race, 11 o'clock will be following after that, and then Community Night at 10. But as far as for this qualifying session goes, if you guys like this, be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that pretty much is going to do it for us. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. And we'll see you tonight at Martinsville, right here at Martinsville, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Twitch. Have yourselves a great night, everybody.